You probably have been doing some Googling. How much do I charge for sponsored posts? This may be your first time, or you may have gotten a lot of new followers and you need to know how much to charge for sponsored posts. Well, I'm here to help you out with that. But before we begin, I highly encourage that you go get your 2-day course and your workbook to learn about the 8 secrets that people don't tell you about when it comes to pet influencing. I'm a pet influencer coach, so this is like gold. So go check this out. Now, the very first thing to recognize when it comes to figuring out how to charge for a sponsored post is that every single platform is different. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, they're all different. And you actually have to calculate and consider your engagement a little bit different with each of these platforms. And from there, I really encourage you to recognize the fact that even though you have a lot of subscribers, if you have really bad engagement, you actually can't charge a whole bunch. So we're going to be talking about these 2 different ways to determine how much you should charge for your sponsored post. The very first thing I highly recommend you doing, and I'm not affiliated with this at all, is to actually go check out this website. This website is probably the easiest way for you to go figure out how much you should charge. It gives you a baseline. It gives you a targeted range. It is not a hard limit. It is just basing that off of your followers and your engagement. Now let's talk about the 2 factors to determine how much you should charge per piece of content. Of course, these are examples. These are not exact amounts at all. Okay. So I know some of you may say, yeah, but I could charge so much more for a YouTube video or charge less for a TikTok. These are for short form videos. Okay. For shorts, reels, and TikToks. The very first thing you have to consider is, what is your follower count? Are you a nano creator, a micro creator, a mid creator, a mega creator? The amount of followers that you have does not determine how much you should charge. It gives you, again, a piece of data to determine, but it's not an exact. So if you have anywhere from 0 to 10,000 as a nano creator, you could charge easily $100 to $200. From 10,000 to 100,000, easily $200 to $1,000. Anywhere from 100,000 plus, you can charge 1,000 plus, okay, for your content. Now, again, these are just ideas, baselines, but really what matters is your engagement rate. Your engagement rate is everything. Your engagement rate is how many of your followers actually like, comment, and share your content, how engaged they are with your content. The typical is about the 1% to 2% rule, but I've had lots of creators tell me that they prefer the 3% to 5% rule. Let's say you get an average of 20,000 views per video. What's 1% to 2% of that? That's how much you potentially should charge. So you have 100,000 subscribers, so immediately you say, ooh, I should charge $1,000. But you have an engagement rate that may make it so that you should charge $200. Where should you put your base price? My personal recommendation is always charge more. That way you can negotiate downward. If you say $200, they may say, ooh, we don't have the budget for that. And then they say, how about 100? And you're like, oh gosh, that's nothing compared to a deal where you could get $600. Don't undervalue yourself. So an example, like I just mentioned, 100,000 subscribers and 20,000 average views, I would say request $1,200 and then negotiate that down to $800. That is going to give you what you're worth. Let's say they want 2 reels. So you figure out that amount of how much you should charge per reel. That's your base price. And then times that by 2. So let's say $1,200. So you say, okay, for 2 reels, I would charge $2,400. And they say, ooh, that's out of our budget. So you say, okay, I would do it for $2,000. And then they say, ooh, oh, okay, that's in our budget. But for a static post, that's a little bit different, because with reels, that takes a lot of time and effort. But a static post, you may just set up a cutesy background and then take a photo, and that's it. So being able to determine UGC, static posts, story posts, carousel posts, we're talking very, very different things. How much you should charge for, again, a static post is not the same as what you should charge for a reel, but I still don't think you should undervalue yourself. How do we determine this? I would personally stick with the follower tiers. So let's say you have 50,000 subscribers. Let's say you need to do 1 static photo post. I would probably charge $250 for that. I know some people would say, that is so little, you need to charge more. But in reality, the amount of time that you have to put into doing that is extremely minimal. I always advocate for charging for how much effort and time it takes to put into your content and for how engaged your followers are. If you have an insanely high engagement rate, like 5%, then, well, maybe you should charge $500. But if you don't really have a big engagement rate, maybe it's 0.8, then maybe $200 is totally realistic. I get it, again, that people are going to say, charge more, charge more, charge more. But After working with literally dozens upon dozens and dozens of brands across multiple accounts personally and coaching many pet creators, I know that there is a difference between what we wish was a reality and what the brands are realistically paying. But what's the way to change that? The way to change that is to ask for more and more. And then if they say, well, that won't fit in budget, and then maybe request a little bit less. But by always requesting more, if they start seeing those numbers more and more and more, then it will become more normalized. But it's hard. I get it. To determine how much to charge, it's hard. Story posts are very different. Go check out my video for determining that. Static and carousel posts are very different. I do have a whole video on that. And I definitely have videos all about how to determine how much to charge for your reels and sponsored posts. So hopefully this gives you a little bit of an idea in regard to how much you should charge. And I highly recommend deep diving a little bit more into all of these specific types of posts and understanding whitelisting. Go check out those videos too. Guys, I have it all. You need to just go binge. Just go binge the content, okay? I really hope that you get the money that you are worth. So I'll see you in the next video.